Ladies and gentlemen of the old world, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to the showdown between the Warriors of Chaos and High Elves here on the Haunted Vale. It's going to be myself with the double Dreadmaws facing off against Danikentrop here, who's going to be using a very wide High Elf build, Silver and Guard, Ship's Company, as well as Lothern Sea Guard. So we're going to be using a front line of Marauder Bearmen. Now, Bearmen I think are very good against High Elves because any faction that is going to be bringing terror-causing monsters, whether it be a Sea Elemental, a Merworm, a Dragon, whatever, having a high HP ITP front line is incredibly valuable. So we do have a couple of those. 3 with some Chaos Warrior Halberds. Daniken and I had played a couple games, and he really likes his heavy cavalry and his light cavalry, so I figured having some halberds mixed in would be nice. Chaos Sorcerer of Metal is going to be using the Tormentor Sword, which is a really nice item. So basically he's able to snare things down. He does have Searing Doom as well as Final Transmutation, which are very good spells. Going back to the OG, a little bit of Aecold Hellbrass. So Aecold is decent against High Elves, and I think there are going to be more meta builds with High Elves using elite infantry and foot-based characters like the Lore Master of Hoeth. So having someone that can go fisticuffs with them and potentially beat them with the support of Final Transmutation, I think is very, very good. So aside from that, I think that's it for my build. I do have the 2 Dreadmaws, and now Dreadmaws are incredibly strong, and if you guys watched my tier list video we did, kind of ranking the different units, I think they're an A tier unit. I don't think they're quite like an S tier unit, but they are very, very good. Dreadmaws are incredibly cost effective for 1,000 resources. They kind of suffer against mass mobility builds. So if you're playing against like Anticity style, where it's like just mass mobility, not really going to be sitting one place at a time, bouncing, hitting, and running, they really lose their effectiveness. But if you're playing against more static infantry positions and archers and dark shards, things like that, handgunners, they really shine. So we have 2 of those guys here, and they'll be pretty good against Daniken's build. Daniken, Archmage with High Magic, with Tempest as well as Soul Quench to snipe Hell Cannons. That's why I didn't bring one in the opening build. Illyrian Reavers, and the rest of his army is going to be Chaff-centric with the new Ship's Company here. So the battle is on, and the forces of Chaos going to be surging forth and looking to grab Objective 2. Make sure my game sound is on. Believe it is. There we go. So I think we're all good. And the Dreadmaws are going to be creeping up on my opponent's flank here, while the Chaos Sorcerer of Metal is going to be looking for Searing Doom opportunities. The Archmage, Soul Quench is also nice, and Daniken, of course, with the MLG tactics, going to be landing his Eagle on the ground and looking to get a Soul Quench, because from the sky, it doesn't go as deep in the ranks. It still gets a little bit of penetration, but casting it from the side like this is just really, really some high-level stuff, and you're going to see it'll do a lot more damage here. So it goes through, brings down those Bearmen, and they do get their Soul Quenched and take additional damage after the fact, so very, very nice stuff. Now, Bearmen do have Bronze Shields, not the tankiest boys in the world, but now the Dreadmaws is going to be popping in here, while we do call out Hellstriders, and we are going to have a firm grip on Objective 3, and we just need to kind of endure over here. So we can get some really nice alpha strikes using the Dreadmaws plus the Chaos Sorcerer of Metal. So both of the Trouser Snakes going to be moving into the Lothern Sea Guard, so one of them is going to be popping up here, getting some nice AoE damage on those guys, and forcing them to run, and it does have a little ranged attack. Now, this is great for me. The Silverhelm's trying to attack it. Dreadmaws have 80 frickin' armor. They're not really going to care about light cavalry or shock cavalry that don't have AP hitting them. So this was a big win for me. Him attacking into the Dreadmaw is something that you probably shouldn't do. Just running away from it and letting it sit there like a limp noodle is for sure what you want to be doing, or shooting at it from a distance, obviously. But the Silverhelms do get a little bit bunched up. I try and get a Searing Doom, but Daniken is able to dodge most of that. Granted, some of the units do get popped there. Moving in are the Marauder Bearmen, some of them moving into the front as well. He has gotten behind me, so I try and ambush him by calling out Hellstriders, my other Hellstriders here, but he has a retreat path through his own ranks, so he's going to be more or less fine. So one Dreadmaw does get a little bit whooped up on, but the firepower from the Lothern Sea Guard has been hurting. The other Dreadmaw popped up on the Lothern Sea Guard here, and now more Bearmen going to be surging into the Silver and Guard. But we do use the deep tunneling ability to pop up on the Lothern Sea Guard there. So very, very good value. While the Hellstriders is going to continue navigating, and Armored Chaos Trolls are going to be the call-in. Armored Chaos Trolls are excellent against High Elves. 110 armor mitigates archer damage to a large extent. And yeah, honestly, they're just solid. A little bit vulnerable to dragon builds, but pretty badass regardless. So this Dreadmaw over here did use its deep tunneling to jump on top of the Silver and Guard, which probably wasn't the right idea. Maybe shutting down the archers would have been a little bit stronger, but I saw an opportunity to try and break through the front line here, and I did see his Silverhelms charging in, so in my mind I was like, I need to just kind of help out in that fight and not lose that position. Hellstriders lurking in the back, and my Sorcerer also waiting in the wings as well. Aecold Hellbrass is just solid here. He's a good hero, especially against Silverens. He's just going to sit here all day and karate chop these guys with his Jedi magic and look good doing it. So he is going to continue chopping away. Sorcerer rolling in, and I'm going to be calling in more Marauder Bearmen, so we have more infantry coming in to saturate as his archers do continue shooting the halberds. Dreadmaw going to be popping up on the Lothern Sea Guard here, and also the Searing Doom. So kind of timing that together gives you some nice tools. So Ship's Company are pretty, stalwart little fighters, 36 melee defense, basically like a swordsman. And the old trolls are really going to bonk them down, though. Armored Chaos Trolls hit really, really hard, and I love them a lot because in this matchup, they can eat a lot of firepower from arrows and then, run away, regenerate, come back, and be a big game changer. Final Transmutation going down here. I wasn't doing much with my magic, so I was kind of like, I'm just going to do this and set him up for later. Daniken, of course, will run away from his other units to make sure that the casualties aren't serious, and Silverhelms attack the Dreadmaw again. They're getting a little bit low. This Dreadmaw is not in the best of shape, but overall, I think is still going to be very, very tough for my opponent to drag down as we keep burrowing and jumping on the Lothern Seaguard here. Really, really enjoying our best life. 2 Hellstriders lurking. Chaos Armored Trolls bashing through the ship's company. A lot of the firepower coming in from the High Elves is kind of running into shields and or high armored units, which is great for me. Searing Doom activated on the Lothern Seaguard, so the Trouser Snakes have done an excellent job of shutting down my opponent's shooting, really causing a lot of havoc there. Granted, his archers have used a lot of the ammo, so he still has been pretty effective on that. Now, Hellstriders on the wings, I've been waiting for an opportunity to get in with them, and here we find one. So I move my Sorcerer in, I use the Tormentor Sword, lock down the Illyrian Reavers, and then we're going to be getting both our Hellstriders to engage, and he'll probably respond with his Silverhelm. Silverhelms do beat Hellstriders 1-1 if they get the charge off, especially. So he's going to be moving in there, and we got a little anti-large fight. Granted, I do have a hero character and Marauder Bearman coming in, so I should be okay, and getting his Reavers offline is nice. Trolls break through the front line, and the Trouser Snake here continuing to chase the Lothern Seaguard. Cold Hellbrass battling Silvern Guard, wearing those guys down, and we do drop a little bit of a Searing Doom in the backfield. Get some okay damage right there, while his Archmage of High Magic just running around casting Soul Quenches and getting some decent angles with it right there, as he does chew into my infantry, but certainly not going to be too much damage. So this fight, not bad. We do have, decent AP infantry fighting Silverhelms, and this is what's so good about the Snakes, right? So you have an important fight somewhere, right? And then you just can teleport in the Dreadmaw, pops up, and suddenly this is a fight that he's either gonna have to run from or he's gonna lose. So the Snake pops up, it causes terror. And, there's a lot of talk about how good Dreadmaws are at diving back lines, but if there's like frontline fights where they dive the back line, then alternate to the front line with their deep burrowing, they can just totally turn the momentum of fights. Now, this is what you guys are here for, heavy metal. I figured we're going to go a little off meta here and call in some Skull Crushers. So Skull Crushers are okay against High Elves. You can go Rot Knights too. My school of thought was like Fireborn do fire damage. Rot Knights are a little bit weak to fire with their regeneration. So let's actually try out the Skull Crushers, who of course won't have that same weakness and do have a little bit higher armor. So the Bulldog Cavalry going to be fighting back and forth with the Fireborn, while Hellstriders charging into the front against Ship's Company, going to be trying to shut those down. Value's pretty close at this point in the game. Neither of us have a ton of healing, so it is truly a even-ish game. I am a little bit ahead, though, I would say, as more Marauder Bearmen are on their way in, and a lot of his value is, of course, tied up in the Dreadmaws, which are still pretty effective here. Cold fighting it out, and unfortunately my Skull Crushers do get caught by his Eagle and charged by the Fireborn. But I have Hellstriders coming in, and I'm hoping the Bulldogs of Khorne will be able to turn the tide of the fight, although he does have Spearman support with the Silvern Guard. So a couple messy things, but we are going to be dropping a Searing Doom here. Although regrowth preemptive from my opponent there, very, very nice. But the Tormentor Sword Searing Doom combo is very, very effective. Though the Bulldogs being dragged down by spears, my opponent's Lord's in some trouble. We call in Hounds from reserve, and we teleport in a Dreadmaw using the Deep Burrowing, and both Dreadmaws are now up in the fight. So, dude, it's tremors all up in this game right now. Those bad boys going to be fighting it out, and really, really looking good doing it. So one of them going to be burrowing back underground because it's very close to dying. But here his Lord is trapped up. Fireborn are doing excellent, but being rear attacked by Hound units. Attacked by the Dreadmaws, which of course have really good AP values and melee and high melee attack as well. Plus the Skull Crushers with their anti-large attacks. Only 500 value so far, but they're certainly performing. Over here, Cold chopping through the Mage of Life. If we can get that pick right there, it's going to be very nice. Looks like Rahagor's Pride, I think, going to be coming in. Yeah, great ROR right there. They have the Fearsome Roar ability, which lowers leadership and speed. And the blob fight here continues, and it does look like the Fireborn showing why they're one of the most Giga Chad, elite cav units in the game. High leadership, Fizz Res, those boys didn't hear any bell whatsoever. But the Dreadmaws just perpetually keep popping up, doing damage. Farside objective looking cozy. I've just left some Chaos Warriors there, but this is going to be a real backbreaker. We get a final transmutation, nail the Silverins and all these units, as well as the Fireborn. And the Skull Crushers of Khorne still going hard for the Blood God, man. They're looking pretty good. They're looking pretty damn good. So we continue chewing on those boys. Marauder Bearmen getting wrecked a little bit by Rahagor's Pride, but with the Hellstrider support, they start to turn the fight around a little bit. And at this point, we do pull ahead in the game. 8.1 value against about 7. The Dreadmaws have been incredibly disruptive. And here on the side, we do see the Marauder Bearmen also starting to grind on this objective a little bit, while the Trouser Snakes are going to be heading towards his archer lines to try and shut those down. And more Marauder Bearmen are going to be getting called in. I think they're going to be kind of an auto-take for Chaos on a lot of matchups. I just think they're very cost-effective. Their HP pools are incredible, and having ITP is great. Granted, against my opponent's build, basic Marauders probably would have been fine, since he didn't bring any terror, but High Elves will often bring like a dragon or something like that, right? So here we do get a Tormentor Sword lockdown on that character. And on the far side, Marauder Bearmen and Hounds going to be chilling over here, getting ready to charge into the Lothern Sea Guard, while the Chaos Warriors still grinding through those, or Marauder Bearmen, excuse me. They're part of the Warriors of Chaos roster. Grinding through the front line here. Dreadmaw number 1 going to be popping up from the pits, so here he comes. I believe he pops up here. Maybe he's going to go after the archers here. More armored Chaos Trolls on the way in. Nope, Blood Beasts. Blood Beasts are also very good in this matchup. You know, they don't have the durability of the armored troll, but they have much better leadership and staying power, and they hit harder too, so bit of a trade-off there. Ship's Company eyeing my backside objective, but the Chaos Warrior Halberd should be able to defeat them simply because of their high armor and better stats. And here comes the Marauder Bearmen, and it looks like this objective is going to be pretty good for us, while the Trouser Snakes jumping on top of the Sister of Avalorn call-in. So we did call in the Sisters of Avalorn, which basically, if the Dreadmaw was designed for one thing, it's countering these kind of elite-type archers, just by getting on top of them, forcing them to run, then deep burrowing when they move, and then when they get focused, they burrow back underground. I have been able to kill Dreadmaws in a handful of games, and if you do break their leadership, which is pretty high at 70, they do instantly die. They just basically run off the battlefield. You don't have a chance to rally them, so they do have some decent counters. I actually had a funny game with Doom and Darkness where it was kind of low, and I just used it, and it insta-killed the Dreadmaw and just sent it back to the pits, which was pretty funny. Also, another really fun thing about the Dreadmaws is if you silence them using any sort of a silence effect, like Karanak, whatever, you know, the Nullstone from the new High Elf Mistmage, they actually cannot freaking burrow. It's hilarious, and they're just trapped there, just getting worked on, so pretty funny stuff. Objective 2 going to go to us. This objective's looking pretty cozy. We're going to be calling in some more infantry here while Hellstriders continue winning on the outside. Hellstriders do beat Reavers, so that is a good fight for us here. Sisters of Avalorn still online here, but the Chaos Harambe is going to surge through, and yes, they are eating a little bit of damage, but we do also catch his Lord. So our Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Metal was able to get the hunch, and the High Elf Chicken is going to be offline for now. And that most likely will be GG well played. We have a value lead. We have a massive strong army here. Sisters are in combat. One Dreadmaw is about to break, and probably going to run off the battlefield if it does. But on the outside, we do also have a pretty favorable fight as well. So from here, Daniken really just doesn't have too many chances. A couple mobility pieces going to be coming in, but that is it. So yeah, GG well played. It was a good game. I think his build, there was a couple things. He was probably expecting something that he could Tempest, like a Sartorial or some character up in the sky, which would have been very good. But his magic was, you know, he had a couple nice little missiles here and there, but his magic was very weak. It didn't really get much done in that game. Soul Quench is right, but any other Lords of Magic, whether it be like Spirit Leeches or Buna, Spirit Leech maybe could have sniped my Lord or finished off a Dreadmaws, Buna, whatever, right? Yeah, and aside from that, the double Dreadmaw is very good against his build. These things, that's not even their full value. They probably got 15, 1600 apiece because it doesn't count their explosion damage when they come up underground from what I've seen. But Eocold was awesome. 1300 value on him. Metalcaster, Dreadmaws are really good. Bulldog Cav did their thing. And, you know, every high elf player and their dog expects a Hell Cannon, so I don't ever bring them in my starting build anymore. I'll bring them in reserve and assess if they're worth calling in. But yeah, Marauder Bearmen are a great infantry, and I think they're solid. Arguably, though, the Chaos Warrior would be good too. Like, you know, these guys are 650. Chaos Warriors are only a little bit more, so probably paying for a shielded Chaos Warrior might be objectively better. But they're not ITPs, so you're kind of trading. Let's actually we'll take a look at that real quick. So let's jump out. All right. So 575 and the 750 is a lot more. And look at that. The Bearmen have like 2,000 more HP than the Chaos Warrior. That might be enough to justify it, honestly. Yeah, they're pretty damn good. All right, guys, GG well played. I think Warriors of Chaos are going to be a really strong faction. Like the fact that they got the Bearmen, they got access to Dreadmaws, which are an A-tier unit. They have Champions of Slanesh and Chimeras. They really are going to be, I think, one of the factions that is going to benefit the most from this update. We're going to be seeing a lot of Warriors of Chaos. GG, guys. See you around. Well played to Danny, and that's it for today.